Hello YouTube. I used to work for UPS and corporate overgoods at the Stafford hub in Stafford, Texas. That's building 7749. They asked me to take that overgoods position because another worker suffered an injury, a health problem that required him to have back surgery. And what they didn't tell me was that that position was temporary. My income increased somewhat to a more reasonable amount. It went up by about $150 a week, which was huge for me at the time. And I did that job until one day after our roommate had moved out. The company told me that I was being demoted back to my old position because that other worker with more seniority was returning. And that's what UPS does to the workers. If you take a job working as a temporary cover driver or a seasonal worker or even as a loader, anything, they will stick you into a position. They'll make you promises. Oh, you're gonna have a good secure income. You'll have great benefits. We have great benefits. Here's what they don't tell you. You don't get those benefits from the job until you've been there for 18 months. And neither does your family member. They don't have any benefits. Your family doesn't have any benefits until you've been at the job for 18 months. And then, if you are a pregnant worker, like my former wife was, if you get pregnant while you're on the job, they will cancel your insurance if you come in with any kind of doctor's note or doctor's restriction stating that you're pregnant, or a lifting restriction, and they will tell you that you cannot come in to work at the facility simply because you're pregnant. They won't accommodate you in any kind of other position at the building unless you're a manager or supervisor, and they'll send you home, essentially firing you without actually firing you. That's what UPS actually does to their workers. I worked there for a long time, almost 10 years, and I can tell you that they're underhanded, they're unscrupulous, and they don't care at all about their people. They treat the part-time workers like dirt. They verbally abuse people, they cuss at them, they throw things. Supervisors get violent in the workplace and will actually get into physical altercations with workers and with each other. And even the full-time supervisors will sit there and have an open argument on the floor, screaming at each other, and then run in opposite directions if they don't get an actual physical confrontation. I've seen it happen. All those things happened at the Stafford UPS during my time there. We had dangerous working conditions. We'd have chemical packages bust open and leak, sending poisonous gas clouds across the hub. We'd have fires inside the hub, and the building would not be evacuated despite the fact the building has smoke in it and toxic substances in the air. And they would try to hold the workers when there was a spill outside the building for 3 or 4, 5 extra hours while the fire department cleared the hazmat spill inside the building. That's just insane. You know, one day they want to give you nothing as far as hours. They'll give you 3.5 hours, you know, on a good day. Some days they would send me home outright. I'd get there after driving 30 minutes to get there, spent gas to get there, and then I'd just get sent home. I was a great worker. They would move me from area to area to area, helping out. And then when they saw that they didn't need any help, I'd get sent home. That's how it usually would go. There were times when I didn't even have my own area. They just made me what they call the front wall floater. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I saw so much stuff get broken when I was working for UPS. So many customers had their family photos destroyed, precious mementos, things that had sentimental value that could not be replaced, and countless TVs that were shattered, packages with automotive glass that were shipped that the glass inside was broken and falling out. there were just so many different things that they did trying to force production, and they would rather pay insurance claims on destroyed consumer goods than pay a decent wage to any of their workers, especially the part-time workers. We made so little there between having to buy our own boots and our own coolers, our own clothing, and our own snacks and drinks to bring with us to our work areas, that we were almost, I would say, almost working for free. I'm not even joking when I say that. We had to pay for our own gas to get there. We had to pay for car insurance. You would literally, after overhead, probably be walking out of there after 25 hours a week. If you had the full 25 hours, and that was on preload, you might actually be taking home about $50 to $70 in your pocket after expenses. And they treated everybody like prisoners, like convicted felons coming in and out. They would wand women's breasts. They would ask people to partially disrobe if they had any suspicion. Like if you had a woman that had two different sized breasts, I know somebody that happened to. It happened to my wife. If you had a woman that had different sized breasts, they would think she was concealing something in her bra, and they would ask her to go to the office and disrobe so that they could see what it was that she was hiding. And it just goes on and on. They would tell people to take their shoes and socks off. They would tell them to take their hair down so they could search them. They treated everybody that came into the building and left the building like a criminal. The drivers received slightly better treatment than the loaders did. They wouldn't scrutinize them as much because for some reason they placed more trust in the drivers. I have no idea why that is, but they were treating everybody there like a criminal. It was horrid. And UPS is an abusive company. Their managers are abusive. It's not a good company to work for. Them being on the Fortune 500 list means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. There were no cameras in the work areas to monitor what they were saying to workers or how they were treating people, how they were destroying people's property, or how they would threaten people, each other. Security didn't care about staff misconduct. If somebody threatened you with attack, which is what happened to me on one occasion, and this other guy came into my work area and he was just standing there texting. He was all tatted up. They made both of us go up to the Human Resources office when I reported it and sign it was a non-harassment agreement, meaning that, you know, if anybody accused us basically of saying anything to somebody else, even though I hadn't even said anything to him that was offensive, we would both automatically be terminated. And I said, sure, I'll sign it. I don't care. I don't abuse people verbally like that. I was at my job. I was just trying to get through, provide insurance for my family, and maybe scrape out a little bit of income, pay for something here or there. But I didn't make shit there. I didn't make any money. It was terrible. And I just laid it out just exactly as it was just then, you know. I tried for years just to hold on for the insurance, but they will treat you bad. If you are not of the same ethnic orientation of your supervisors, some of them will treat you really bad. I was the oddball at that hub, and they would try to push me around because they enjoyed pushing around the white guy. They would run me into the ground. They would work me to death. I don't miss it. I don't regret no longer being employed there. I don't recommend anybody work for UPS.